Howdy, howdy, howdy. We got another great coaching session today. Today we're gonna have a little twist on this sparring series where I usually have first to fives with my students. Since it is Evo, my student Norman requested something pretty unique, and I think everybody's gonna benefit from this. He wanted general advice against every character. So I'm going to give advice against all, what is it, 22 characters? 23 characters now, including Bison? 23 characters. We're gonna go through the entire roster in 60 minutes, all right, with some in-game examples and things of that nature. So if you're hype, like I'm hype, Evo coming up, we're gonna have a grand old time. Hype for this video, just hype for the season in general. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and support the Fighter Academy, because you know this is the place where progress, perfection is perfected, and we are all about that pursuit of principles and just being our highest versions of ourselves. And that is how we're gonna go about it. And let's get into the video. I'm gonna pull in Norman real quick. Alrighty, Norman. Hello, hello, hello. What's up? What's up? What's up? So I was just telling the stream about how we are going to tackle today in this very unique way. Shout outs to you for your idea, because I never thought to do this. So this is pretty cool. So yeah, so let's talk about our last session before we get into this. So the homework I gave you and how your progress has been since.
It was good. You talked about like the zones, and you sent me one of your videos from Street Fighter 5 where you covered the zones, and after going over it or watching it, exactly kind of what you covered, basically about once you're sitting in a certain zone, then you have certain tools at your disposal in that particular zone, so it kind of removes all of the extra like mental thought process of being in other zones. So it basically just kind of simplifies the matchup down, and then it was really good.
Nice, perfect, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I'm hyped. I'm glad, because I know simplicity is really, really important, especially leading up to a tournament. We don't want to overcomplicate things. Like, you've been training up to this point, and the point is like from this point to the next couple of days until like pools or whatever. It's all about releasing. It's about letting go. It's about relaxation. So I want to keep things as simple as possible. So I'm going to give you these nice little 1 to 3 points per matchup that I think are significant. Not so much that we hyper fixate on the opposing character, but just enough so that if things kind of lean away from your strategy, you can find points in the opposing character's play style, their decisions and stuff. We could capitalize on that, so that way we could return to our strengths, right? So I'm gonna share my screen for you, and then you just let me know if you can see it right right now.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good. All right, cool. All right, so we're gonna go over there. Chat, let's cha slide. Hey, okay. So we're gonna start off, we're gonna go in alphabetical order, because that's how I take my notes. So I'm gonna use Akuma as an example, because obviously I play Akuma, but you'll be able to still apply these ideas, okay? So let's start with Aki, okay? So if we were to play Aki, some very, very important things I would like to stress are with her Cruel Fate, which is her dagger move, this move. Let's do the this move, right? You see this? This is kind of like the, I'm gonna throw this out because I don't think you're looking for it type of move. So the closer you are to her, the easier it is for you to punish it. You would think it would be the other way around, but it's actually a lot easier to punish this when you're closer. I'm gonna show you why. If she does this light version, you can low profile it, and you see I'm minus like minus 13, right? So like I get all of this, okay? So I could do this so late. If I sit there, right, like if I'm that close, it can even whiff like that, right? But ideally she's probably gonna do it from a cancel, so she'll probably do it like from like right here, and then that can happen, right? Of course you can anti-air it, right? You can use buttons, right? But in case you are like shocked, you're like, oh, what the fuck, you could just, okay.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Right. So another thing you could do is, let's talk about the EX version. So the EX version, this one's like a fucking jump scare a little bit, right? If you're really close, it can hit you pretty soon compared, and like if you're walking, you just so happen to be not blocking, it can clip you like that and then you get hit, right? And that can be annoying because now you got poison on you. So there's a couple ways to punish this. You can perfect parry this, right? And then you can so what I would do is I would like crouch and then you could DI it.
Oh wow.
Okay, yeah, and then also you can still do this too, so this still applies. Okay, from further away you can also DP it. Okay, you can even air to air it if you're fast enough. Okay, and there's another thing you can do is you can delay. If you're far enough, if you're further away, you could delay DI it. See, but you have to crouch this, so that way the first 2 hits whiff, because there's 4 total hits. If I were to block it, see, there's 4 hits. So if you're further away, you crouch and DI late, and you see it doesn't come out if it hits me early, but then boom.
Hey.
Right, that's a pretty beefy punish, especially if you're playing a character like Deejay, right? So then the other thing against her specifically that you want to be ready to punish is this into, you know, like a drive rush, right? So you have to make sure that you are ready for the perfect parry, essentially. All right, you want to perfect parry this and then check her for trying to.
Okay.
Okay, so this is like super important. So you don't want to be too far, you actually want to be close. Okay, so you want to do something like this, and then as soon as you see the green, you could stick out your button. Okay, so you can even do this with EX fireball, but the thing about EX is you have to then parry both the hits, but it still works the same. Okay, so that obviously you'd have to practice that. Another thing you could do is, like, let's say you try to perfect parry it but you don't, and you get the regular, you can just drive rush like that just to get her off of you.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's especially useful if she does the EX, because then she's technically using 3 bars, so she just lost 3 bars off of that interaction. Okay, let's go to Akuma. Okay, so for Akuma, I would say one of the things is, like, when you're in the corner, you're gonna see a lot of Akuma players try to do stuff like this, right? Bruh. Right, they'll try to do stuff like this, right? You can anti-air this, but the problem with this is if you try to anti-air this, but he does the other version, which would be this, right? I can even do this a little faster. That could happen.
Oh wow.
Right? So guess what though? If I want to beat both versions, all I have to do is when I block it, I just dash.
Okay.
Okay, so you can eliminate that. There's no real guess there. Okay, there's none at all. Okay, so the other thing is you know, in neutral, you want to maintain proximity if you think he's in that, like, demon flip mindset, because he can just try to throw you off with like this, right? Or try to do the empty to throw off your anti-airs, and then, you know, you go to DP and then you whiff and then you get bodied, right? So what you could do is you just want to maybe hold a little more on your forward walk and just walk without fear and just close the gap, because by having proximity, you've eliminated the guess. Okay, the more range between the 2 players, there's now more options. There's a plethora more of dimensions and angles and things that can kind of throw you off. But when you're close, you're in range of contact, right? You're more likely to make contact with your opponent, so you can minimize the whole, like, evasive aspect of that move. And this is just moves in general. Okay, so that's why I always suggest walk forward, because you can eliminate a lot of these, like, guessing like tactics. Okay, the other thing, of course, is, like, everybody should have this down, is when you're playing Akuma, if he whiffs this and you crouch the first hit, like Norman remembers we were talking about this, right? As soon as he whiffs the first one, just press your button, because the second one will never hit you unless you stand. See, it will never hit you unless you stand up. See, I'll literally let go of my stick. Or not let go, I'm gonna do down forward, right? And in the second hit's not hitting me. If I'm close enough and I crouch, the first hit will hit me. See, like that. But if the first hit ever whiffs, then I'm game. I get whatever I want. Okay. So you want to optimize with a crouching button. That way you don't stand into the button by accident and get fucking bodied like this, right? So just keep it simple. Okay. All right, next character. So for Blanka, what you'd want to do is when you are, because you're playing Deejay, right? So your fireball game is important in this matchup, and you know when you have a fireball, you have to be aware of what can they do to try to, you know, like throw off my fireball game, right? So Aki's like the torpedo move, right? Akuma might Tatsu you or try to use the X fireball. So your fake fireball is going to be really good at throwing off people's reactions. So I'm playing Akuma, obviously, so this is going to be through the lens of Akuma, but you can apply it to anybody. I'm going to have Blanka set to perfect parry, okay? So he's going to perfect parry my fireball, and then I'm going to have him do the thing that you're going to see a lot of Blanka players like to do. They'll do this and they slide, right? Because usually players will throw a fireball and they have a fireball trap and they try to maintain it, right? So they'll try to do that, something like that. They'll either perfect parry the fireball and then slide the next one, or if you are, you know, you're close enough, see, like, he can't do it here, right? So he has to try to like perfect parry and then snipe the startup of the next fireball because I'm too far. That's why he's not hitting me here. Whereas if I were to turn this on and I did this, see how much easier that is? See? So that's how they would punish that. So what you want to do is you could just do nothing. You want to introduce nothing on reaction to the parry, right? So I want to throw a fireball. If I see him block, then I would throw another one like that. See, I wouldn't want to do it like here. Okay, this is fine, right? This is fine. This is fine. See, this is fine. This is fine.
Oh wow, yeah, you even waiting on that.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm even waiting, right? But I have to confirm it and make sure it's not perfect, because if it's the perfect parry, I can get fucking screwed, right? So I have to be very, very careful about it. All right. So you could do that, but you could use the fake fireball.
Yeah, that makes me think about the feint a lot more in this match.
Yeah, so it's going to be really powerful. And then when you block it, you get the world. You get, he's like, what, minus 15, 16. So you can do whatever you want. You could crouch fierce, stand fierce, into whatever, right? Akuma, I could do standing roundhouse. Nice 300 damage. Okay. So this is the most important thing. I need everybody to pay attention to this. Okay? Every single person needs to pay attention, not just Norman. Because this is how Blankas get away with murder. I'm going to teach you guys something very, 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 very critical about this character that people don't explain, okay? Everybody knows his hop is annoying, okay? So let me give you some fundies about how to beat this shit. The way that his hop functions, all right, is that he crosses up to the other, on the, you know, to the other side of you at a certain proximity, right? So when let me have Blanka set to do hop. So I'm gonna show you this. Let's say he does this. Hold on. Let's say he does this. What the fuck? Oh, is it crouch? What the fuck? Oh, it's forward. My bad. Okay. This. Okay. This happens, right? And then you'll see often people try to like jab him, and then this happens. Where you see how my jab went on the other side? So to eliminate this, you want to do one of two things. You want to be so close to him, right, that the cross up happens sooner. So even if I mash immediately, like look at my frame guard, right? So I'm gonna pause this really quick. Okay, let me see. So you guys look at my frame meter. You see how I am doing this at the fastest possible timing, because there's no black. You don't see this. You don't see this, right? You see colors. That's the startup right here. Okay, it's the first frame right here. Boom. Okay. The fastest possible timing, that worked. But the problem is, the further away you are, this can kind of fuck you over. Okay, so when you're further away, you want to be a little bit more delayed because it can kind of fuck you over. Okay, you want to be a little bit more delayed on it. Okay, because it can get really wonky depending on the button that you press. You see how you fucking... See, so if you press the wrong button immediately, this will happen. So with lights, you can fire these off pretty fast, but with certain buttons, they'll be active once he's on top of your body and basically sliding past you. Okay, so this, to mitigate this, you just want to delay, let him hop, and then jab him on the other side. Okay, and if you punish it, you should see a counter hit. Okay, because this indicates that you hit him on the recovery. Since this is not an attack, it's not a punish counter, it's just a movement, so it has the property of getting counter hit when you hit him. Okay, so make sure you obviously optimize this. Right, so like if I'm playing Akuma, I would do this, right, something like that. Okay, so you have to make sure when you do this, like, it's okay, you don't have to rush this. It's actually good that you delay it. All right, some people, they see it and they're like, ah, and then, you know, this can happen and then you get fucking cooked and then you're -6 and you're like, what? All right, so you have to introduce a delay or immediate lights. If you're going to use mediums, you cannot do immediate mediums because that will happen where he just slips by you. All right, very, 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 very important. Okay, Cammy, let's talk about Cammy. Where's Cammy at? Okay, so very simple, because a lot of Cammy players in pools are going to try to make comebacks against you off of this. Okay, they will try to do this into this. Okay, I'm pretty sure you've seen that millions of times, right? Yeah. If you see this even late, look how late you can do this. See how late I'm doing this?
Yeah.
So even if she does, for example, even if she were to do, oops. Okay, it doesn't matter what version it is. I'll have both of them on. You can beat both of these, right? And remember, even though you're not doing a lot of damage, the victory is in the fact that she just invested 2 bars. And if she needs to make a comeback and she's losing meter like this is not good for her. See how late I'm doing it? I could literally like be like, oh, whew, whiff a button and still. Okay, so you have all the time in the world to do that. All right. And then another thing is, when you play, you know, in pools, one of the best ways to beat Cammy players that are just not really disciplined is you give them a reason to dive kick and then you punish accordingly. So, you know, have all your pushback ready. You're playing a charge character, right? So you want to use like crouching buttons or whatever, and then have your charge set. So maybe, you know, end a button like your second into your third button, use a standing into a crouching, and then you can flash kick, right? Because when you give them the dive kick spacing, they already wanted to accomplish that and you just did the work for them. So they're going to just fire off the dive kick. So you can intentionally create this range and then you look for the jump dive kick and then you punish accordingly, right? Very simple. And it helps you like save a lot of mental resources because you just simplified the approach. Okay, so again, Chun is another character that relies a lot on fireball into drive rush. So same idea. You want to make sure, guys, that when you are fighting her, you want to make sure that oops, wrong one. Run this back. All right, this is something I like to do. And the same thing, same idea with Aki. All right, you try to perfect parry this, and then you punish accordingly. Okay, you can buffer your button into drive rush, and you know. Right, and then you can go hammer from there. Also, if you fuck it up, you can just drive reversal if you know that, if you feel like they're gonna commit. Most players are gonna commit, especially if you didn't show them that. Okay, And then the other thing, very important, is if she does this, she has like 21 frames of recovery, so you could do whatever you want. So if you feel like she's gonna do this on wake up, they do this to try to like beat your throw, right? They just try to do that on their wake up. If you feel like she's gonna do this, just walk up, do nothing, and then just wait. And you just wait till she hits the ground.
Oh wow.
See?
Is that completely whiff if you're crouching?
Yeah, 100%. Look.
Jeez. Alright. Noted.
Okay. All right. So Dhalsim, what would I want to know? Well, first and foremost, when they do these like dive kick strings, right? They have to space it out. Okay, they have to space this out. So they have to telegraph it by doing a string, or the riskier option, which is not as telegraphed, is the spacing gets created and then they hard commit. So say we're playing here and then all of a sudden I walk here, or they walk here, right? Like the Dhalsim player walks up instead, and then they just shoot it. So that's really risky though, because by the time you walk up, what if I walk back, right? And then you just whiff. It's like, fuck, right? So the other thing you could do is you could just walk back. You could literally just do this and walk back, right? You could literally just walk back and just whiff punish. Okay. Another thing you could do is you can neutral jump, which is a little bit more committal, but it's an option nonetheless. You could obviously DP it. It's an airborne move, so you can do it as late as possible. Okay. You can punish accordingly. Right. And of course you can perfect parry it too. Which would give you, I think, like about like 20 frames? 10 frames. 10 frames? Okay. It's not a bad option. Okay. Another thing for him that's really, really important is you cannot let Dhalsim get away with this, because this is how Dhalsim regains his control in neutral, is the use of EX Arch. Okay, so EX Arch is the move that a Dhalsim player is going to want to do when they want to feel some sort of control again. So they might back up and do this, and then they start to play inside of this, right? So you don't want to let him do this. Okay, so when you see him back up randomly, or if the range gets created, like I was talking about with the zones, right? You can easily punish this if you're ready for this. All you have to do is drive rush. You just wait. Like, look how slow this is.
Okay.
Oops. It's fucking... Okay. Very, very easy.
Well, you got some time there.
You have fucking all the time in the world. Okay. We just gotta make sure that you're on your A game with it, right? You can even just... Like, you don't have to drive rush it, but, you know, it's just like when you feel like it's about to happen, that's like a really good way of blowing it up, okay? And then the other thing you want to blow up is when they do, you know, any sort of pushback into float, right? You want to blow this up. So any sort of attack that hits like this is really good. Or if you could drive rush and hit with an attack that hits like high like that, it's pretty good to counter it. DPing it is pretty risky because it can get like really awkward with that. But if you're fast enough with your drive rush, you can use the momentum to propel you forward. Okay. Right. So you have options there. Like, I think another thing Akuma could do is he could Tatsu, right? So what you could do is you could EX Fireball with Deejay. I have to be higher with Dhalsim, but the problem with being higher is that it takes longer for me to get to the ground. So I'm more vulnerable technically. I have to teleport, okay, to try to be safe, essentially. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So Deejay, when you're playing the mirror, I mean, very important to introduce DI at the end of Blockstone, because as you know, Deejay players love, you know, doing shit like this, right? So it's not a bad idea to just throw this out occasionally, because it makes them delay, and in that delay, it's a lot scarier for them to commit to shit. Okay, it's a lot harder. The other thing is if they commit with Sway. So the theme of him is you got to watch how he acts at the end of his block stun, right? If he's constantly attacking and aggressing, DI is really strong. If he tries to do evasive shit like Sway, then you chase him down. So if he does this, right? I can interrupt this.
Mm.
All right. So you can chase him down essentially. Okay. And now that forces him to try. He has to commit to something. He can't just like keep doing that. So he has to try to stop you from advancing, or he has to just allow you to do it, right? It's one or the other. If he keeps doing that option, it's gonna get blown up by a drive rush repeatedly. So you can't really do that. The other thing about him is that when he does this string, never let DJs get away with this. The fucking this shit. Okay? Never. The second you see them, that's a guaranteed DI. Alright, the only thing that they could do is they have to do the, I believe, the regular version. Yep, which he can DI back, or he does EX, which would be a true string, I believe. So when they do this, they usually don't just do it once because it is -5, right? And he can get punished. So your stand light kick is 5 frames, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you can get a punish off of that. Right, so you got to make sure that you take that away from him. So Honda, very important. Please, guys, listen closely so you do not get scummed out by this nonsense. When he does butt slam, okay, you know there's this like so-called mix, right? You can completely obliterate this mix-up by neutral jumping. Do not jump forward because that will happen. Okay, don't do that. Don't jump backwards. Okay, because then if you jump backwards and he does the light slam or something like that, and then you're just in the air for no reason, looking like a fool. If you neutral jump, you'll cover pretty much every butt slam that he can do. See?
Oh wow.
Okay. And you can do this pretty late too. All right. All right. So if you have like a ground conversion, like Akuma, you're blessed. Right. So this is what you want to do. All right. You definitely want to do that. Okay, and it still applies even to his EX butt slam. It's the same shit. Okay, so now the other thing is if he does, this is important for safe jumps, right? So I'm gonna do a safe jump with Akuma. And then if I do this, what the fuck? I get blown up, right? So when you do a safe jump against him because of the armor, what you want to do is you want to do a light attack. All right, because the hit stop won't keep you in the air as long. So even though he has a really slow reversal, the hit stop from a heavy keeps you in the air long enough because of the armor absorption that you get hit. But if you use a light attack, there's very little hit stop. And then you're able to punish.
Oh wow.
Okay. So even if you were to block this, you still get some pretty good frame advantage off of this. So for example, oh oops, I'm doing the wrong one. +5. So I got a true block string into a light, or I can delay by a frame or walk up and throw and, you know, frame trap his buttons. Really good. And so that's really important because you'll see people who kind of get blown up by that, and then that shit frustrates them. They don't know why why can he do this? No, he technically still can't do it. You just have to adapt a little bit. So Ed, you have to put this in your brain, okay? Etch a sketch this into your mind. When you see this, you have to DI this shit, because as soon as you see yellow, he's a screwed fellow, okay? Just remember that. Nothing you can do. He can't fake that. He doesn't have a way of faking. See, like I can't dash out of this. Once he does the yellow, he's screwed, chopped and screwed. All right. So you got to make sure you take that away from him, okay? So when he does I think it's like throw, this is, you have to be careful of this. I think, yeah, it's like this, I think. This is, that will blow up your level 1s, and that will hit you meaty. And so you want to perfect parry that, and then try to, I don't know what's the advantage on that. Let's find out. So if I right, I'm so tired of this replay system, man. Shit is so annoying. Minus 17. So you technically could drive rush and probably get a medium out of this as a punish. Yeah. So you can at least drive rush and then put pressure on him, essentially. And then they're not going to be ready for this either, right? Because they're expecting you to just kind of like be in the block stun. So drive rushing, like perfect parrying and then drive rushing situations like this is really, really strong. So this is something that you could do. And then the other thing is, if he does, for some strange reason, he does this, please don't let him do that ever. Okay, like ever in his life. All right. Let me see. So if you're DJ, you easily get this. I could Tatsu this.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm close enough, I could just level 2 it. Okay. But don't let him get away with that.
So never let it do it raw. It has to be off a confirm.
It has to be off a knockdown or a confirm, essentially. So let's go to Guile. If I'm fighting Guile, a couple things. Number one, that can get swept. He can't do that. He cannot do this. You can punish this. Okay, you can just sweep this and then you get a hard knockdown. Okay, you can't just raw do this. So even sometimes, like, you could just do that. You could do it from really far. Okay. All right, so you play DJ, so your sweep is even faster than mine. And you have better inertia on your drive rush. I don't have the inertia you have. So you'll fly across the screen and punish this pretty easily if you see him just doing this, okay? The other thing against Guile is you want to make sure you guys are punishing upside down kick. Where is it? Want to make sure you're punishing this, okay? So they usually do this after fireballs, so that way they can get, you know, further drive chip, right? So when you see the pushback, it's a really good place to just look and react to it. You can react to it, right? You should always try to react to this, because even if you're late, you'll just, no matter what, if you do this so late, right, he still gets DI'd, right? And if you don't do it in time, you'll just block. So there's literally no risk in reacting to this move. Literally zero. There's no risk. Look at this. So even if I do it late, I just block. There's no risk. And the move is -8. Okay, so if I'm close enough, I can punish this. DJ, you might be able to sweep this. Okay. So it does have some pretty good pushback. What you could do too is you could neutral jump it. All right. And you can obviously, like, you could interrupt it, but you don't want to interrupt with a low hitting attack, okay? Because it low crushes. You want to use a standing mid like attack, right? So this would be pretty good. Something like that. All right. So you wouldn't want to use crouching medium punch or DJ, right? You don't want to use stand light kick because you're gonna get blown up, right? And then the other thing, this is, I don't know why people let him get away with this, is that if he does this, There's a big gap between this. Right, so yeah, if he drive rushes, yeah, of course, you know, then it's like, it's real, right? But, right, because he can do that, right? But you can still interrupt with a DP, or you can DI. I wonder if you can DI? No, you can't DI. You can DP or perfect parry. Okay, so you have options. You can super it. Alright, you don't have to take this. Alright, so you can punish this. Okay, so when you see Jamie move back like this, it's either to do this or it's to do this. Okay, so guess what? You now have a way of punishing both of these things. All you have to do is when you see him randomly walk back, okay, like this. Let me make it look as like realistic as possible. Let's say I backdash and do this. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And then on the second recording, I'm gonna have him do backdash into this, right? Because usually when people see it, they kind of chase him, right? So they're like, oh yeah, let me go hit him, right? And then they get hit by that. What you do is you just drive rush, you just parry, right? And when you see it, you react, right? Because you see, you're gonna cover both. See?
Oh, okay.
So like, obviously you would try to perfect parry it, but it's not bad to block it either because he's -3. It's not the end of the world, right? So you just practice.
You're not rushing till he drinks, then.
Yeah, see? And look how much you have. It's 50 frames. Like you could go make a fucking sandwich and come back and still punish him. Okay, so this is very, very simple, right? Other thing is that when he has level 2 drinks, okay, he has level 2, and what they like to do to, you know, if they want to get momentum, whatever, very, very common is you'll see this. Into this, right? So if you know he's gonna do this, look how much. It was -104, bro. I could I could do whatever I want, bro. Maybe even taunt. No, I'm just joking. I can't taunt, but I could dash up and do whatever I want. And look at this. You know, I can do whatever the fuck I want. So if you feel like he's gonna do this, just wait. Like, just fake a fireball and then just jump. See? Do whatever you want. Okay? You don't have to like interrupt it. You can if you want, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just fucking do this and then just laugh at their pain. Okay? Alright. And then the other thing is, if you block Rekka, it's -6. So since you play Deejay, all of the first Rekkas are -6. Okay, so as soon as you block this, you can punish it with Deejay by doing up kicks, heavy up kicks. So what that does is it forces him to go into the second Rekka. But if he does second Rekka, look what happens. Look how minus he is. He's -9, right? So that's not good. Okay, and then even if he goes to the second Rekka, look what I do. I EX and I beat both, right? So even if he does this and blocks, right? Even if he does this, I would be able to, oops. Oh, so not with Akuma, but with Deejay, you'll be able to EX upkick him and punish him. Okay.
Yeah.
So if your character has a far enough EX attack, you'd be able to punish any of them essentially. Okay, but if you know that he's just going for the one Rekka, then you just heavy kick up kick him and you punish him every time, and it forces him to go into that second Rekka, which is super fucking risky, because then if you know he's going for second Rekka, all you have to do now, there's no mix when you block the first one. You just go, or you can even block the first one and just DI. See, there's nothing you can do against JP. They love this crouch and fierce. Okay, this shit is pretty solid, but if you jump from further ranges, you can make it whiffs, right? So you get this nice little empty jump, and then you can get pretty massive reward off of it, right? He doesn't get much reward off of anti-airing you with crouch fierce, right? Even if I get hit, like, it's only 96, like 960. It's not that big of a deal, right? This isn't the end of the world. Whereas if you can bait, you know, with that can throw him off. You have a jump knee that's a little fast and wonky, so you can throw that out there too to kind of throw him off. Maybe make him focus a lot more on the air approach, and then you just empty jump him, and you can just start, you know, making him fight himself because he doesn't trust himself. Okay. The other thing you could do against him that's pretty good is if you are, you know, fighting a JP and he does this, right? He does the departure. He tries to put this there, and you're parrying, and then he tries to do this. Okay, what they'll try to do is they'll do departure, and then they land and they try to throw you. Okay, so what you could do is you could parry, and if you have a DP, you could literally on reaction drive rush and punish him. He can't do that. Okay, so you literally just wait, and he's fucked. Okay, since you're playing DJ though, what you would do is you would, like, I believe you would do something like this, right? You would wait. And then he's not gonna land and try to hit you. He's gonna try to land and throw you out of your parry, right? So what you would do is you would want to wait a little bit and let him fall more. Don't do it early like me, and then you interrupt him like this. You see? Because you're not gonna have charge, right? Unless you do this and you wait. Like if you just parry tapped and then you're holding down the charge the whole time and then you up kick. But if you don't have that, you just wait like this. See? And if he keeps doing the departures and stuff like that and the ghosts, you just parry it. Parry. Eventually he's gonna try to do like the ghost command grab or something like that, but that's pretty easy to react to. Okay.
I think you said jump back jab too worked really good.
Oh yeah, you can also do that. That's true. You can air to air this. You gotta make sure that you're not like in this ambiguous range where you're like directly underneath. You want to make sure you're a little bit behind it or in front of it. Okay. All right, even this is a little awkward because look at the original position. He's still facing you, even though, you know. So when I jump here and I go forward, I'm still going. I'm not going towards the character, which is fucking weird. See? So it's better for you to move back and then maybe air to air it. Okay. You can air to air with the back like that, like you said. All right. It gets tricky though when there's multiple like the EX version, because there's two of them, so he can snap one and then teleport on the stun of that, and then that's a little bit more real. But you can try to perfect parry it and then anti-air the second departure, like the teleport that's gonna come behind the spike, right? But that obviously takes a little bit of practice. So the other thing you want to do against him too is against JPs that are really, really good at checking your drive rush, right? Like these guys. Let me see. Bruh. Keeps eating the fucking input. There you go. So against players that are really good at checking you, what you want to do is you want to kind of add a suppressor, like Luke's, how he like retracts. So with anything that halts your momentum on the drive rush is really good against this. See?
So like sway.
Yeah, like sway. All right. So you could drive rush into sway. You could drive rush into sabat kick. Drive rush into what's another good one is throw and then whiff punish. Okay. So you have multiple options there. So Juri, when you're playing DJ, you can sway punish her stores on block, but because of the nerfs to his up kicks, right? You can up kick it, not sway it. When you up kick, you have to be careful because the range is different now. So you just want to make sure you lab it, like lab the reckless spacing for Jamie, lab the spacing for Juri, because it used to be guaranteed no matter what, but it might be a little bit finicky at max spacing. But the idea still remains that you can do it as long as you're at the right spacing, okay? So it's going to be a lot harder for them to space it out versus harder for you to hit them, basically. Make sense? You there, Norman?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so with Juri, you have to make sure, because you're playing DJ, any character that has some sort of ability to glide over the projectile, you take advantage, right? Like Bison he got it good because he can just, like, you know, EX scissors. Akuma can dodge to it when he's close enough. You can do it on reaction pretty easily. Okay. I don't think I can level 2 this from this. Oh, I can level 2 it. All right. You can obviously, you can level 2 it. I'm pretty sure Deejay could level 1 it also because your level 1 kind of hops. So you might be able to glide over. I've seen somebody do it. I don't know how easy it is, but I've definitely seen it done before, which is pretty nutty. Okay. Also, when you anti-air her, because her dive kick can kind of fuck up your up kicks. If you are in a situation where you know she's gonna jump and you can kill her with an anti-air, just always EX up kicks because it'll beat the dive kick and it'll beat the delayed jump and the delayed jump dive kick, all that shit. You basically would beat her pretty clean. It would require a very, very specific jump height dive kick to beat you, which is not something they're gonna rely on when they're desperate and need to make a comeback. All right. Okay. So EX is like going to be your stable way of beating it. But what you can do is you can ignore the dive kick because her dive kick is minus, right? It's not really safe. Right. So even here, see, I'm still +3, even though it hit me basically at my knees, right? So she still doesn't really get pressure here. Only thing she can really do is like try to go for a gimmick like EXDP or perfect parry, but she's not in throw range, so sometimes I don't even care. I don't even want to press a button. I'm just like, let me see how desperate you are. I just let them do it. If they parry, I walk up and throw them, right? If they fucking DP, I get a whole punish, right? So you can ignore this and just focus on the jump. So when you're playing Deejay, what you could do is you just have her set to jump and dive kick, and you just try to perfect parry this or whatever if you see it. Okay, but then when you see her jump, you just wait for her to come down on the jump and then just up kicks. That way you don't fall for the fucking dive kick shenanigans. Okay, so I literally just ignore the dive kick. It's not that big of a deal. It doesn't even exist to me. All right, so they're gonna want to Dragon Lash you from afar. So whenever they create this range, this is very suspicious. They're usually going to do something like this, or they're going to do something like this and then try to do this, right? And if if all else fails, they'll start to do this because they think you're so fixated on these things, right? So because they're fixated on this, they think they can, you can sneak this in. But whenever you see this range, you just look for this. So the key is you want to react to this animation. This is how you know it is Dragon Lash. You don't want to react to Dragon Lash when the motherfucker is doing Liu Kang kicks or right here and he's like, right? Like you don't want to wait here. This is really late. No, we want to see the keyframes of his startup, which is this. You see like how he's hunched. He doesn't really have an animation that looks like this. So this is a tell. You see this, and then you're like, oh, that's Dragon Lash. And then you already fire your fucking DI. Okay? And then you boom. You snuff his shit. Okay? So I'm reacting to his body strangely contorting, and then it's a lot easier to DI this. Alright? You can also jab him out of this if you don't want to waste the bar. Okay? And then you can do like your DJ corner carry stuff. Right? Okay? You can also neutral jump this pretty easily too. Right? But if you are like last minute, you're not realizing it, just parry it. Just make sure you don't hit with a crouching button, like a crouching jab. Always hit something high. Okay, because this will get bodied. Everything will get bodied if it's aiming low, right? Because it low crushes. So you want to be careful of that. All right. When they do walk to these ranges, they want to get this and then do this, right? Because the idea is you fireball and then they punish and they do this, right? And they start going ham. So what you want to do is to minimize or mitigate the effectiveness of this character's drive management game. You want to bait his EX fireball drive rush as quickly as possible. Because then what happens is now he is one DRC away from being in burnout potentially. That's a victory because now he's going to hesitate on his confirms. And even if he hits me, I don't give a fuck. You're in burnout. Right? If I'm in the corner, I don't give a shit. Because if I side switch you somehow, some way, you are fucked. Potentially. Right? So I don't give a shit. So knowing this, right? You just want to bait it. Right? You can bait it by, using your fake fireball or something that looks like a fireball. Like stand medium punch kind of looks like one, right? And then you could also do that thing that I was talking about where you could perfect parry the fireballs and then you can check them. Right, which is a little tricky, but it's definitely possible. I've done it against A.K.I. I haven't really done it against Ken, but see, you just gotta make sure you choose the appropriate button. See, and then you can punish it. Okay, so that's how you would you could thwart that too. So you have multiple ways of punishing that, and then you could do the thing I talked about too, where you block. you delay drive reversal. See, like that. So you don't do it right away, because you do it right away, you might eat their input, and then the drive rush doesn't come out. So you wait, and you see how late I can do it. So if I don't ever see it, I don't do it. See? It's very rare for them to just drive rush and do nothing. That doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? They just wasted 3 bars. You invested 2 bars, they wasted 3, so you're winning. All right, so for Kimberly, all right, so this is the thing that they're gonna want to do, right? They're gonna want to do this into this. This is a true block string, okay? So you have to be very, very careful with this. All right, so if I try to mash DP and I'm standing, I get fucking cooked. All right, I was crouching there. It's crouching there, but I can get hit. See? So if I am to mash DP, you make sure you do corner mashing. So that way, like if you're playing like a non-shoto, I'm saying, you want a corner mash. But since you're playing DJ, you have a up input. So you have to be so fast with this so that you can go back to down. All right? In case she tries to do anything other than this. But since this is a true block string, what you could do is you could just do this. And she loses 3 bars, you invested 2. I wouldn't always rely on this though. Why? Because they have this mind game, the good ones at least, where they start doing this. See? So even though you still can technically drive reversal this, you might be surprised, see, and then you do it late and then she blocks it. So you still can technically do this, right, as you can see, but it's just not as reliable. But the thing is, when she starts doing this, she's minus as fuck. So this is good. Look, she's minus 8. Actually, she should be minus 6 if I do it the right way. Let me see. Let me do it the right way. Yeah, minus 6, right? So you as DJ could get crouch strong, basically. All right, I could do, you know, strong. I could do crouching strong into stand medium kick, I believe. Yep. See, all of that. So you have to take that away from her. You cannot let her get away with this shit. Okay. The other thing is when she does the teleport, this shit is not. This is like very gimmicky. This teleport, this, okay? So I'm gonna have her recorded to do this and then jab, and then I'm gonna have her recorded to do the EX version. So the EX version is the one that's yellow, right? And they usually do this, okay? So what you want to do is, if you're not looking for them, you want to use a button that hits, that's pretty fast but also can anti her. See?
Okay.
And I don't have to think about this. And what's cool is, with Akuma, for example, I could buffer, right? And I can do this. See, so my buffer never came out because she went through the air, right? If I could drive rush this. See, no drive rush came out. So you can get really creative with this. See, no drive rush came out. See? So I cover both options. I don't have to think about it. Right? Stuff like that is really, really important. Okay, and the other thing is when she does the jump elbow, you want to make sure you're in range to punish this, okay? So they love to do it, like, especially on, like, shimmies, for example. They'll do, like... They'll do this. I forgot she doesn't have fucking cancelable low forward. They'll do this, right? To try to, like, beat your throw tech.
Yeah.
Right? And then you get fucking clapped. So this is actually really fucking easy to anti-her. You just walk under. She can't hit you. she can't do anything. Okay. If she tries to do this like raw, like to try to throw you off like this, you can just whiff punish it. So I would just literally practice reacting to both of them. Okay, so you got to get rid of that gimmick. With Lily, you need to understand, if she does any of the condors that are not EX, okay, any of the non-EX condors, she only hits twice, like from further ranges. The first hit is so stubby. You see how I'm only getting hit twice? I have to be like right there for her to get it. So if you ever see this, you just DI it.
Okay.
It's not real. Right, you can also Pretty sure you could jab or hit her out of it. Yeah, you can hit her out of it as long as you have a disjoint. See? You can also anti-air it because it is airborne. Okay, and you can also neutral jump it. So since she can kind of get in these wonky ranges, do something that hits cross up both sides, right? So something like this. Okay. If she does the EX version, the same rules apply except for the DI, because her first hit goes way further, faster, so she can break your armor. So what you want to do, right, is, so you see how that hit 3 hits pretty far, right? So if you're further away, you can try to do it, right? But you gotta be a little bit further. Or you could perfect parry this, right? And then you DI it, because you know up close that you perfect parried the first hit. See? What you could also do is, if you're not sure at which range you're at, like say you're playing DJ, you perfect parry and you up kicks. Or IDP. Anything that's invincible to aerial attacks on the first frame, you could just do this. You can also jab her to hit her, right? Because you're invincible for, I believe, 5 frames after a perfect parry. Right? So if she was on the ground, you could throw her. Which is why throw perfect parry is really strong, but she's in the air, so like, you know, you can't grab her out of that. Okay? So when you play Luke, what's very important is you master this spacing with this fireball game. There is a spacing where you can cause the light fireball to whiff, and you can basically drive rush punish him, right? Like that. But if you were to do the heavy, you would perfect parry it. And then you'd get pressure. So he can't jab you here. So it wouldn't be a punish. The light, he wants to go for because it's a lot faster, so it's a better poke. The heavy's really slow. The problem with the heavy is you could jump that shit like pretty free. Alright. So the light is a little trickier because like it'll probably hit you trying to move and stuff like that. It's just so much stronger for like the footsies aspect of the match. Okay. But this range is really, really good for blowing that up. Okay. And now the other thing is that when they get into this mode of trying to do this, you just gotta do a button that is active enough so that when he tries to release it, you just hit him.
Okay.
Because if he does the punishable version, which it would be like a true block string, I believe. If he does this like that, it's -4. So he doesn't really want to do this. Okay. So he can technically frame trap you, but the timing, you'd basically cover both of these by delaying your low forward, right? Ooh. Like that, see? And then that way you would block the fast version like that. Okay, so a little bit of practice, you'll be able to get this, where you basically would block him going for immediate versus him trying to delay it. Another thing that you could do is you could just use an invincible attack or a super, because it'll cover both options, right?
Okay.
The thing you do not want to do is DI this when he has level 3. If he does not have level 3 and he does this, it is guaranteed either way, because he can't cancel it into anything except for level 3. He can't cancel into level 1 or 2. He has to do level 3. Okay, so you always look at his bar when he does this. You'll be like, oh, you don't got level 3, free, guaranteed, because they will do this sometimes, even the good ones. Okay, try to sneak it in sometimes. So it's good to have that there to like punish him. Okay, the other thing is when he corners you. Okay, this is not real. Fierce. This, not real. This is a frame trap, yeah, but like he can counter hit you out of this, right? But if you perfect parry this, he can get cooked. He's minus 14. So I, as Akuma, could do something like, or you could sweep and then side switch, which would be another really good option. Okay, and now he's in the corner, so you got to convert off of that situation. Very, very, very important against him. Well, Bison, if he has bomb on you, okay, he has bomb. Anytime you block any heavy, all right, like if you block like this, you can't do it on this. I'm pretty sure you can block that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can't. You can't drive reversal this. Oh, you can. Okay, so if you block any heavy, right, and you have bomb on you, it is worth drive reversaling just to get him off of you. All right, because as soon as you hit him, the bomb leaves. It's no longer on you. Okay, so it is worth. It is 100% worth it to just drive reversal any of his pressure once he gets the bomb on you. All right, so you got to put that in your head. It's worth it. Oh, so the stand fierce is the one. Okay, so I had it mixed up. So stand fierce, you can't drive reversal. All right, and now the bomb is off of you. Very important, because now you don't have to worry about the threat of like him throwing a random fucking psycho crusher at you, him doing a random back fist, him doing something into some guaranteed pressure, and then you have to eat drive chip. It's not good. So you want to make sure you do that. When you're fighting against Bison, neutral jumps are very good. So when you push Bison to, when he pushes you to this range, or if I as Akuma push Bison to this range right here, neutral jumps are really good, and so is backdash, because if I do this, and I try to do a safe scissor kick, boom, 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 backdash, right? And then you can punish it. Okay,
That's good. That's good.
So yeah, you want to introduce like a lot of movement just to make him not so comfortable with scissor kick. Okay, so that's some good shit that you can do there. With Manon, a very, very good tactic against her is when you crouch a lot, they have this tendency to want to overhead you, right? Which is the heavy, this, right? They like to do this. So you could crouch on purpose and then perfect parry, and then you can get started. Because once you get in, she doesn't really have great defense. She has to rely on perfect parry and super. Okay, so you can basically blow her up with your pressure, especially because Deejay has really good fireball meaties. So you can just go to town on her. Okay, so inversely, when you walk back a lot, it makes them want to do this shit. Okay, so they start walking, they see you do this, so it's really good sometimes to just do this, and it's really punishable. It's minus 23. So I could dash up and jab punish it. That's how minus it is. Okay, so obviously I don't want to do something bigger than that, but like Akuma, I could do this. I just did 34%, 1 bar when I carry. All right, so you want to make sure you optimize this. Okay, you can DI both of these, that and the overhead too. Okay, you just have to make sure you're early with it, because if you do it late, you can get cooked. So you should do it as soon as you see her basically get off the ground. That's when you'd want to do it. If you do block it, it is minus. It's minus 9. But sometimes they space it so well that you don't really get a punish. Okay. But if you have a really good sweep, you might be able to. Okay. You can still like punish it, stuff like that. Okay. Sometimes you have fast enough super, you could probably super punish it. Okay. You can also neutral jump it. It's a good option. All right. So the other thing is when she does this, okay, you want to practice drive reversaling her, because she gets low on drive gauge. Remember, she doesn't really have a reversal. So she needs level 1. If she's low on drive gauge and you corner her and you go to town, she's gonna be so scared to convert off of a DRC, because now, yeah, if she gets a hit, she's in burnout. But then it's like she now has to survive Street Fighter 6, a character who already doesn't play the game, and she's now in burnout. So it's worth the investment of your 2 bars for her 3. Okay, plus she doesn't get the mix, she doesn't get the metal, and you're back to neutral. Right, where DJ beats her, Akuma beat, a lot of these characters beat her. She just has really good buttons. Okay, Marisa, with her, what's very important, okay, is that when you block this is like -8. Yeah, so if you have a character, if you have a invincible attack or like a super that's that fast, that shit is really, really good. If you have like an invincible super, especially, right? DJ's level 1's not invincible, so it's kind of tricky for you. And on top of that, if she goes into Gladius, she can probably armor your EX upper, right? But you do want to be mindful of that mind game, even though you don't want to play it often, because if she commits to Gladius a lot there, then obviously you get a buffer into like a level 2 if she's too obvious, right? So what they'll start to do is they'll start to do the empty, right, like this, and then you punish them. You're like, well, I already know this is minus. Okay, and you can get whatever you want off of that. So other thing is, when you throw a fireball, she will like to do Superman punch. Okay, don't be scared of this move, because you're not in throw range. You're not in throw range if she does this. Okay, not even close. All right, not even close. Look, not even close. She's plus, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, like she's +2. Okay, great, not a big deal. So you can just perfect parry this or whatever. All right, if you know it's coming, you can also neutral jump it, which is pretty good. You can even do it late, especially on the heavy versions. The ones that'll give you a harder time is like when she's closer and she does the light like this, because it's a little faster, right? But even then, a nice guess read and you can fuck her up for it. Okay, and again, you could perfect parry it. You can even DI it, but it's just a little risky if you're not ready for it. But it is real. Like, but you just have to be careful if she does the EX. But Marisa players are not doing EX Superman anymore, because people stopped DIing it. So maybe when people reintroduce it, they might start doing the EX again because it breaks armor. So just be mindful of that. All right, so if she does do this, that will fuck you up. See?
Okay.
Okay. But it still loses to anti-airs and still can get perfect parried, whatever. Okay. You can obviously super it, because that would break the armor. All right. And in the corner, they love to do Gladius. So you have to practice with punishing this. All right, you have to. If you think they're gonna do it, you can also jump. Okay, you don't have to like always contest this. Always try to reaction parry her, because at worst she doesn't get drive chip. All right, and at best you might get a perfect parry. If you just sit there and block, you're gonna get fucked, because she's gonna just chip away at your drive gauge. When you see this, walk with him and DI. This is a easy DI punish. This is like 50 something frames. This is a 52 frame fireball. Look how late I can do this. See how late I'm doing it? So you can do this.
Looks like your good DI is gonna like whiff too.
Yeah, right. It's so like you have all the time in the world to confirm that. Right? So you can do that, and you can thwart that pretty easily, okay? The other thing you wanna make sure is like when they do, what is it, this? How do you do it? It's the, I think it's something like that. I don't remember how to do it. It's like run. Like something like that. I think it's something like that, right? Let me see. Or do you jump right away? I think you jump right away, actually. Bro, I hate the fact that this fucking... There you go. Okay. They try to do stuff like this, okay? This is fucking gimmicky as shit. Don't sit on the ground. Just air to air.
Okay.
So when you see this, air to air. Because when you're far, they want to get in. So they're gonna do this. Even the best Rashid players do this because they try to throw off your anti-air and then people will whiff and then they get frustrated and then he gets started. Okay, so don't let him do that. The other thing too is if you ever see Rashid do this, this is not real. Where if he does this into Cyclone, that's not real. You can, even if he drive rushes this, you can jab him out of this. If he goes into heavy, he has to go into the other versions. So you'll see them do this to just try to like reset pressure. So as soon as I see drive rush medium punch, I just wait to see his body contort. See, like that. As soon as I see that, I'm like, I already know what time it is. See the twist? And then I can interrupt. Boom. Okay. Okay, so Ryu, he has this little mind game of doing fireball or Hashogeki, right? So what you could do is you can do something like this where, because they usually try to follow up the fireball with like a Hashogeki and then walk up and throw you, right? So it's not a bad idea to just drive rush just to surprise them like they're trying to surprise you, and then you do this just to interrupt their attempts to try to throw your parry. Okay, so from time to time, if you don't get the fireball, just be ready to like to just drive rush. Okay, so you don't have to punish it, but the idea is to punish his attention. He's trying to punish your parry. All right, and then when you start doing that, what they'll start doing is they'll start doing like fireball, Hashogeki, and then waiting, right? But then now they're waiting, so then now you can start peppering them with fireballs, or you can start sabat kicking them or whatever you want to do, right? So you can start to now like take that away from them essentially. Okay, so the other thing is donkey kick. So donkey kick is super fucking slow. This move, you can perfect parry this pretty easily, to be honest. All right, you can DI this. He has to like hard read that you're gonna do this and then like try to level 3, and even then like you'd have to have punished him so much for him to be doing this, because they're usually doing this just for the drive through. So if he has level 3, just don't do it, but if he has level 1 or 2 and you see it, just fucking let it rip. Even the light version, like, right, like so it is a little faster, right? But they're not really gonna do this version. They're gonna do the heavy one because the light one's like, it's not as safe. It's minus 11. Yeah, it's minus 11. So I can do whatever I want, essentially. Can't fierce it, but you can get a sweep and then get a setup, get pressure, or if you can super from that distance. So he doesn't really have a strong like fireball drive rush game because his drive rush is not that great. So he's more straightforward. So you just want to punish him for the whole Hashogeki fireball mind game and just try to lure him into wasting his EX fireball and punish accordingly. If you do block Hashogeki, I believe the EX version, you can drive reversal this. Yeah, so you can drive reversal that, so he can't get pressure. Even with the enhanced version. Yep, see? So you can just take that away from him. So with Geef, what I highly suggest is to just cry. Honestly, just cry, just let it out, and just accept your inevitable. I'm just joking. All right, so with Geef, what you want to do is when he's in this mode of doing stand fierces, you want to make sure you hit him with low hitting attacks, because hold on, I'm trying to fucking this replay shit. When he charges his stand heavy punch. Anything that hits low will break this, you see? So you have DJ, you can walk up, stand light kick into Sabat. But when you do Sabat kick, you have to make sure you're doing half circle. Because you know, actually you don't have a DP attack with DJ, so you should be fine. So yeah, you could just walk up and just light kick into Sabat and you'll body him pretty much. Okay, because it hits counter hit, you'll get the additional frame advantage. Alright, you can walk up and do this too. You can dry rush off of it if you want to get like crazy corner carry or whatever. Alright. When he has level 2, if he does like wake up level 2, you can meaty him with lights, and you can block in time. So much recovery.
Wow.
See, I did that super late, and I'm pressing the jab after the flash, bro. Look, I'm pressing it after the flash, and I'm still recovering. Jab, and I still block because it's 18 frames. It's so slow. So like, if you think he's gonna do that, like, you don't want to use mediums because you can get bodied. You don't want to throw because you'll also get bodied, right? So you just want to stick to your lights. Of course, you gotta be careful because a smart Zangief is gonna be like, oh, every time I have level 2, you do meaty lights. Okay, I'm gonna perfect parry. So then sometimes don't even engage in the mind game. Just pretend you're gonna pretend you're gonna, you know, maybe walk up and just do nothing. Right? You don't have to pressure him. You know, against him, like when you keep him boxed in, he has to do something. He has to commit. So what they'll probably do is they'll just randomly fucking try to do this, or you know, maybe they'll try to knee. Right? If you ever try to check the knee, don't do it with the low hitting attack because it is going to low crush you like it just did there. See, that shit made no sense because I did that shit when he was on the ground and it still didn't hit him. So you have to use me standing hitting attacks like this. Right? Stuff like this. Right? Have to do that. Another thing is jumping at him is not a bad idea as long as you're in cross-up range. Because when, for example, if we are here and say I do this, right? I can end up causing, because Lariat doesn't hit cross up. See? So even though he's clearly pressing it while I'm behind him, or like on top of him, it'll just whiff because I went behind him. Okay, so if you have like good jump cross up ranges, it's not a bad idea to just like, you know, if you're let's see, like at this range, this little cross up range that's happening. See? He basically gets bodied. So it's not bad to just randomly throw this out at him. Especially like if you're cornered, you just like walk up a little bit and then jump out. He can get bodied because of that. Okay. If he is in burnout, and he has level 1, you just DI him. But you have to make sure when you DI him, you do it with a frame trap that is a 2 or 1 frame gap. Or allied, because his armor is on the 5th frame. It has to be a 4, 3, 2, or 1 frame trap. Because if it's the 5th frame, he will armor your DI. Right? And you obviously don't want that to happen. So here's an example of this. So if I were to do, if I did this, right? Okay, that would work, right? Because he's getting hit. Oh, let's make sure there's no delay on this. Okay, so his armor is not kicking in fast enough. So it's on the, I'm hitting him on the 5th frame. So it's on the 6th frame that he has armor then. So if I were to do, let's say something like this. Wait, why is he not doing it? Oh, he's not charging it, bruh. Hold on. I was wondering, like, what the fuck? There you go. So we're gonna make this. See, I get bodied.
Wow.
Because his armor kicks in on the 4th frame. So it's the 4th frame. All right. JP and Marisa, it's on the 3rd frame. So you have to keep it tight. So against Geef, you could get away with a 3 frame, 2 frame, 1 frame. JP Marisa, you can get away with it on a 2 frame, 1 frame gap. So with Akuma, I can't even do fierce, right? I have to drive rush. So you want to do a medium. See how that's a 2 frame gap? So if you look at the chart right here, boom. This little frame data chart, right? You can see 1, 2, and then it's hitting on the 3rd frame. But remember, he doesn't activate till here. Okay. So then now, so you got to figure out as many buttons as possible that give you that. See, I can get it from this. I can get it from this. That's a lock. This is a lock. Oh no, this is not a lock. Okay, so I can do it from this. Right? Maybe can I do it from this? I can't do it from crouch here. See, he has the armor on the same frame I'm active. So you have to be able to pinpoint your routes for the burnout stun DI situations, and then you'll be fine. All right, I'm done. That took way longer than I expected. So I apologize for that.